The following is a sponsored program paid for by First Alliance Credit Union. Welcome to Good Money Moves, featuring Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome to Good Money Moves. I'm Andy Brownell, along with Jenna Taubel, Director of Brand and Digital Member Experience at First Alliance Credit Union. Hello, Jenna.
Hey, Andy.
Well, last week, we talked about some of the little secrets that no one tells you about when you decide to switch credit unions or from a bank to a credit union.
Mm-hmm.
What are the good money moves we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, well, now that we're in July, a lot of us are definitely thinking about summer vacations. If you haven't been on one already, I know I have not gone on mine yet, and it's all I can think about is going on one. But sometimes you can't really afford to take a big long vacation and go stay in a hotel or go just be gone for a long time, but you still want to be able to enjoy some time off during the summer, right? So you may have heard of the alternative to the traditional summer vacation idea, and that is a staycation.
I'm a staycation guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And, to be fair, staycations don't exactly have quite the same mystique, if you will, that summer vacations do, but they do have a lot of advantages that some of those more traditional or destination summer vacations don't offer.
Yeah, like they're cheaper.
Way cheaper. You'll almost always spend less on a staycation than you would with a more traditional vacation. And they also tend to be a lot less stressful than those destination vacations. You don't have to worry about as much expense or the travel and logistics involved. Finding a dog sitter or a kid sitter if you're leaving the kids behind or, whatever it is.
You get to sleep in your own bed.
Yes. Yeah. You can kind of think of it as taking like an extended mental health break, really, which who doesn't need that these days? But just because you stay at home, though, doesn't mean that it has to be boring and that you just have to clean your house for 4 days, right? Like there's a lot of fun activities you and your family can do during a staycation, and some of them might even be a little productive.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm all for staycations. I'm good with just being bored on staycation. I'm okay with that. But other members of the family may not agree, so.
Yes.
I'm ready to hear about your activity ideas.
Yeah, well, the first staycation idea I wanted to share was really just get out and go for a walk, be in nature. Most of us are a lot of times really busy, commuting to work or running kids around or running errands. And especially if you work remotely, a lot of times too, you just don't really ever leave your house and just get out and see your neighborhood sometimes. So even if you just walk a couple blocks to like the nearest gas station or get something and kind of just grab a drink or a nice snack while you're there, you kind of start to get a chance to know your neighborhood a little bit more intimately and in a better way than you would if you were just driving through those neighborhoods, right? You start to see things, you start to meet neighbors. So a good staycation is just getting outside in your own neighborhood. It can be kind of exciting. You actually would be, if you don't often walk your neighborhoods, you might be very surprised at what's out there to see and experience. And if, you may live near, some of the bike trails and things like that are around town here in Rochester, go walk those or take a bike ride through those. You can really start to kind of appreciate the city and the place that you live in a new way, right? If you are just getting a little bit creative about how you travel.
You're right, especially here in Rochester with the trail system and the parks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had heard a statistic just the other day that from just about any point in the city, any residential point within the city limits, a home, you are within a 10-minute walk of a park.
Yeah.
And trail systems, the way they're connected is crazy. And we were in Duluth at my daughter's place, and I've been up there numerous times. We went for a walk. 1 block away, magically, there's this fantastic park and trail system that goes into a deep ravine. It's crazy. I never knew it was there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to kind of uncover and explore in your own neighborhood a lot of times.
I like that idea. Go for a walk. Get the cheap exercise. I remember, of course, when the pandemic was on, we all
Mm-hmm.
not only stayed indoors, we tended to stay away from everybody else as
Yeah.
well. So, any other staycation options that we might take that we can enjoy our time off while we stay at home?
Yeah, absolutely. Getting outside and is always just good thing to do, even just for a little bit throughout the day, especially when the weather's nice. But another thing you can do, because sometimes it's just too hot and you don't want to be outside or it's rainy,
Yes.
and you maybe want something to do that maybe feels productive at the same time. A lot of people, myself included, I don't know how to relax even when have my day off and I have nothing to do. I find things to do because I can't just sit and do nothing. So for people like that, a really great staycation option is to find some online learning that you can do. And this became, going back to your mention about the pandemic, it became very popular to do during the pandemic. A lot of people took things like online cooking courses or learned how to play musical instruments or
Yeah.
practice juggling or drawing skills or even, started using those language learning apps that you hear about like Duolingo, Babbel.
I'm doing that right now.
Are you? What are you
Well,
learning?
not right now, but I'm doing Spanish. I'm teaching myself Spanish. Duolingo. It's excellent.
Oh, fantastic. Good for you, Andy. That is one thing that I've never tried to do is learn a second language, and I kick myself for it all the time.
Well,
But
there you go.
yeah, I'm going to do that over this long holiday weekend. I'll learn,
Honestly,
learn Spanish.
5-10 minutes a day, within a couple weeks, you're picking up more than you thought you would.
I believe it. And it's so important to have that right now. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
And but just, it's a great opportunity if you have a couple of days off in a row. It's a great opportunity to kind of build up some skill sets that maybe you've always wanted to do, or maybe kind of pick back up a hobby that you once had that you've kind of fallen away from just because life gets so busy. And there are all kinds of, like, if maybe learning a second language isn't where you want to be, but you have other interests. There's places like Corsica, Skillshare, Masterclass, all kinds of them out there. Some of them paid, some of them free, that you can learn all kinds of skills for. So if you want to learn it, there's a self-help option out there somewhere for you. I
Oh my
guarantee
gosh.
it.
The whole YouTube phenomena with
Yeah.
there's some really good ones as far as
Oh,
learning how to, I don't know what it might be,
yeah.
code apps for a cell
Hmm.
phone. I mean, you can even do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's
All
almost
right.
limitless.
If I only had the time. So on my staycation, obviously, I probably have some time. What other staycation ideas do you have?
Yeah, so this one goes back to getting outside again, and that is doing some backyard camping. I don't know about you, Andy, but I this was definitely something my parents did for us when we were kids just to get us out of the house. They would just set up a tent in the backyard. Maybe you did this for your kids. I don't know. Threw us
It's
some sleeping bags at us and said, just spend the night out here.
Yep, peace and quiet in the house for a change.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the nice thing is you know your kids are safe. They're in your own backyard, but it feels like this fun little mini adventure for them. Um, and it's just kind of fun, and it's a little bit nostalgic to think about it now that I'm saying it, actually. So, you might want to try the backyard camping if, like, you just got a new tent and you want to try it out, or maybe you got one really cheap online just to do some backyard camping. There's a lot of ways that you can kind of make this a fun experience. And, if you've got a fire pit, you can still do, cook out over the fire, roast your marshmallows, and obviously the best part being that an actual restroom is not too far away. You don't have to worry about going in the woods. But of course, if you don't have a backyard, right, if you live in an apartment or something, or maybe you don't have a large yard, you can always camp out in your living room. Set up a fun little tent scenario in the living room and use your stove to roast some marshmallows or however you want to do it. lots of options. Again, just trying to think of ways where, it is expensive to take a real kind of traditional vacation, but there are ways to still have some fun this summer and feel to keep you from feeling like all you did is sit around and do nothing with your free time. Another one that can be super fun and is really easy is have a picnic. You can make yourself as nice a lunch as you want, or just pack some PB&Js and, get that large blanket and head out, find somewhere to eat, a park, your front yard, wherever, there's lots of options there too. And I think it's another great activity. It's just great for families. It's great for couples, young, old, whatever. Like everybody's got to eat lunch. Why not go do it in a fun new space?
Drive over to the Mississippi River and enjoy the view and have a lunch at one of the many parks.
Yeah, or hike through Corey Hill and throw some sandwiches in the backpack and find a great view to enjoy your lunch from, whatever it is. It's really just, again, about kind of changing what your normal is. And that's really what staycation is all about, is making fun where you already are.
Yeah. And as you pointed out too, there's plenty, you don't have to just eat while you're having the picnic.
Yeah.
Frisbee golf.
Yeah. Tag, hide and seek, walk the dog, ride a bike. Yeah, whatever.
In my generation, we could even play lawn darts, but now they've banned those because they're so dangerous.
Yeah. So. Well, what about, I grew up playing croquet.
Yeah.
As a kid. So,
easy to set up, super fast.
Yeah. Super fun game.
Everybody had a croquet package. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a break, though. We're talking about staycations, ideas for staycations, which is a great way if you're trying to save some money or pay off some debts to have fun with your family while still meeting your financial goals. Yeah. We'll be back in a moment with Jenna Taubel, First Alliance Credit Union, on Good Money Moves on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We're talking Good Money Moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back to Good Money Moves. Staycations, our topic this week. And Jenna talked about picnics, outdoor camping, backyard camping. I guess you usually are outdoors, right? So what if I'm feeling a bit more ambitious? Do you have any activities for, might be, I don't know, a little more adventuresome?
Yeah. So, and I'm going to caveat this idea with the fact that some people may not consider this a staycation idea. However, if you're like me and always need something to keep you busy, even when you're supposed to be relaxing, you could renovate a room in your house.
Right.
Yes. And it doesn't mean that you have to do major renovations. We're not talking like strip your walls down to the studs and start fresh. I mean, it could just be that you're repainting it, or you're just kind of giving it a nice touch up and kind of maybe refreshing things right now. It's time to give it a deep clean and really, make your rooms feel a little bit more organized, kind of tidy up, dust vacuum, all that fun stuff. But it also could be that you're just taking some time to organize some of your storage space so that you're not feeling like everything's falling out of the cupboards on top of you every time you open the doors. Or maybe you're just buying a new piece of furniture and kind of rearranging the furniture in your room just to kind of give it a new and fresh feel. And of course, it's going to take a little bit more work than some of those other things that we talked about. But I think the benefit of it is that sometimes those little changes you make in a space makes you have a renewed energy to your house in a really positive way. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Like I said, you don't have to completely gut your kitchen in order to kind of give it a refresh. Sometimes it's just getting more organized, or maybe finding some new decorations you can put in there to really kind of spruce the place up a little bit.
Well, what's cool with the kitchens now is you can add those LED lights. And they're really, they're really inexpensive. I'm talking,
Yeah.
Maybe $20, $25.
Yeah.
And they can code for different colors and stuff. And
yeah, you can do a lot of fun things for
yeah,
pretty inexpensive. And especially if we're talking even like getting new furniture, there's a lot of options to find kind of used furniture that's still in good shape here in town. I mean, you talk about looking on, those buy and sell pages on places like Facebook. The Restore here in town, places like Goodwill or Savers always have furniture. Obviously, some of it's in better condition than others. You have to be a little bit picky, but you can potentially refurnish an entire room in your house for a couple $100.
I know people who are doing this, and I'm not really, I don't buy into it as much as they do, but I have to admit, it actually works better than I thought it would. They'll buy the used furniture that you're talking about, stuff that the finish is worn and you get it cheap, and they paint them black.
Yeah, yep, repaint, refurbish, yep.
Yeah, it hides most of the flaws, and I'm amazed how good it looks once they're done with it.
Yes, yeah. I don't think I've ever really purchased any piece of furniture brand new unless it was from IKEA and it was really cheap and I had to put it together myself.
There's your staycation right there, putting together IKEA furniture, but you're not going to be relaxed after that, that's for sure. No. Okay, now I said the relax word. What if I'm not as ambitious as you perhaps are, but I want to relax on my days off. What can I do?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely fun things you can do for your staycation. And I think one really cool idea is to have, if you have a lot of close, and by close, I mean like in proximity, friends and family who can come over and do some kind of like gaming tournament or huge game day. Whether it's board games, yard games, you name it, just schedule a day where everybody kind of comes over, brings their favorite games. Everybody takes turns playing the games. Maybe you do it in a big group or in smaller groups. You can even make it a little bit more exciting by making it like a potluck and have people kind of bring over snacks, and maybe people come and go throughout the day. So you have different snacks. And you can even make it kind of competitive by coming up with like a prize for the person who wins the most games. Again, this is a really good like family friendly activity that you can do if you have kids of really any age, and you can kind of gear some of the games to different age groups if you need to throughout the day. But really, one of the reasons this is such a good activity is because almost everyone really does have that favorite game that they like to play. And so you can kind of play them as often as you'd like. Maybe you play the same game multiple times in the day. Maybe you play each game once, but it really just gives everybody a chance to kind of get in, have some fun. And you might even get to try out some new games you've never heard of, because a lot of people have some really interesting games in their closets these days. And that is also not to leave out video games, right? There's a lot of families that enjoy playing video games together as well. And especially if you have a lot of friends, you can come over, actually play those games together in the same room. It just has a different feel than trying to do everything virtually all the time.
And it used to be almost impossible for anybody who wasn't a techie to network this stuff together, and now it's relatively easy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely is. Yeah. As long as you have a couple laptops, or even these days, there's all kinds of online games that you can play together as well. There's one that my family really enjoys playing called Jackbox Party Pack games. And it's just a bunch of little random games, trivia or drawing, and you just all have a device, and the game prompts you on one screen. Everybody has their own screen, and you complete whatever the game is and play it through that. And it's really engaging, really fun. They're easy games that really anyone in a wide spectrum of ages could enjoy. So things like that, you just kind of.
That's good, because the games that my kids play require these hand controllers that have like, I don't know, 25, 30 buttons on them. I know I'm exaggerating. And I'm like asteroids. I can just do like 2 buttons.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Dad, you're not really very good at this. Shut up.
No, it's an easy win against me as well. Even my 8-year-old can school me in video games.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, staycations, the topic this week on Good Money Moves. We'll continue with some more ideas when we come back on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We're talking good money moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Staycations. That is what we're talking about today on Good Money Moves. Jenna Taubel with First Alliance Credit Union with some ideas for inexpensive ways to use your vacation time and still have fun and be productive. How's that?
Yes. That's
So,
exactly it.
Any other, I guess, as our clock says on the wall, any final staycation activities you can talk about?
Yeah, well, we haven't talked about the elephant in the room a little bit here, and that is the fact that we live in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. So I gotta recommend that you go boating. And obviously not everyone owns a boat. I certainly don't. But you can find places in really anywhere, even in Rochester, that is, to rent things like a kayak or an inner tube or a paddle boat and just find some time to get out on the water. You can even rent pontoons or take a riverboat tour down the Mississippi. And I think, again, getting outside is just like such a great way to feel like you're doing something fun.
And there's something, I swear, something primal about being near water.
Yes.
It's just so satisfying.
It is. Yeah. I mean, and again, and we didn't even mention this, but, going swimming at some of the pools around town or going fishing. There's all kinds of little reservoirs and stuff around Rochester where you can go fishing at.
Oh, yeah.
Actually. So kind of just, again, it's rethinking, well, I don't do this every day, so it's relatively inexpensive to rent a lot of these things and do these activities in comparison to a traditional destination vacation. So it could just be one of those things. And it's a great thing that you can do in a single day. You don't have to plan overnight trips and things like that. These are all things you can do in close proximity to Rochester.
Oh my gosh. And another one you haven't mentioned, I might as well throw it in really quick, is the many state parks that we have nearby.
Absolutely.
30 miles of here, there are numerous beautiful state parks.
Yes. Yeah. And all kinds of interesting tours you can go on in certain small towns. I think of the cave tours around town, just quick little, I think there's like Amish tours you can take in like Lanesboro, and you get to go visit all the Amish farms and buy flowers and bread and baskets along the way and kind of make a fun little afternoon of it. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff to do locally that you can you can use for a staycation. But I think one last thing I will say as well is a lot of what we talked about today is about using your free time to kind of unplug in a lot of ways. So another really great thing that you can do that is relatively inexpensive or free in most cases is to kind of disconnect from the internet and the smartphone altogether and just kind of curl up and read a good book. I mean, I love reading, but I don't have a lot of time to read for pleasure these days. And so being able to sit down with a good book on my patio or on the couch would be an excellent staycation for me. And it can be a good family thing too. Sit down with your kids and read them Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or whatever your family's into, make it a family activity, have some snacks or a fun little lemonade drink or whatever you guys like to munch on. But there's, again, so many different things you can do that are affordable without having to feel like you're missing out on some fun vacation opportunities.
Excellent. Staycations. I love it. Big supporter of them. And of course, we run out of time before we can really get in depth with this. But I imagine you can point us in the direction of where we can find maybe some more staycation ideas or just general information about making good money moves.
Absolutely. As always, I encourage our listeners to visit our website at firstalliancecu.com. You can get subscribed to our blog. We release new financial tips and advice out there every week. You can find out more information about staycations there, as well as how to save and plan for destination summer vacations that you want to take in the future. And of course, there's past episodes of this show at firstalliancecu.com/podcast or on kerosnews.com. You can also subscribe to Good Money Moves on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. And if you love our show, please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And of course, if you have a financial topic or a question you would like covered on Good Money Moves, please send me an email at marketing@firstalliancecu.com. And of course, I strongly encourage you to reach out to our team at First Alliance Credit Union. They're here to help you start making good money moves today.
That's First Alliance Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. Jenna, as always, thank you for the great information. We'll talk again next week.
Absolutely.
It's been Good Money Moves on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.